Our guest this morning is our own immigration law specialist in our studios this morning. It's with great pleasure I'd like to introduce Don Susantha Katugampola in our studios. Good morning and welcome to our program.
Good morning, Derek. Aibon.
Susantha, first of all, any latest development with these 457 visas?
Yes, 457 visa subclass is a very popular visa subclass in Australia. And you probably hear this in the media today that 457 visas are under scrutiny. And therefore, there are great developments, there are recent developments that scrutinizes the 457 visa process. And also, the government is seriously looking at changing some of the criteria and processes for 457 visas. It is mainly that 457 visas are aimed to service the Australian employers. It's an employer-driven visa. Mm-hmm. The employer-driven visa has become a visa applicant-driven visa process recently. Therefore, the government has of the view that the 457 visa process should be much more tougher, and that's the recent development in 457 visas.
Susantha, why have they made these 457 visas tougher these days?
I think the reason for the government to make the 457 process difficult is that there has been lots of abuse in this 457 process. And the 457 process, 457 visa process has three components: business sponsorship approval, nomination approval, and the visa application approval. And the sponsorship is the actual business to be approved as a standard business sponsor. And the nomination is the approval of the actual position, actual job title by the visa applicant. And then the visa application is the actual visa application by the visa applicant. The legislation relevant to the 457 visa has given lots of discretion to the case officer, the officer of the Department of Immigration and Border Protection, to decide on the nomination process. And we see that lots of nominations have been refused today on the basis of non-genuine employment nomination. Mm-hmm. So therefore, you need to be mindful that your nomination must be an actual genuine job position and nomination. If you have that genuine position, if the position is genuine, if the business is genuine, if the visa applicant got the right skills set to qualify for the visa, there are legislative requirements for the business approvals and also the visa approvals, and there's lots of discussion in the nomination part. Once you satisfy those requirements, then certainly you should be able to have a positive result. But unfortunately, there are certain parties who have abused the process, and the government certainly got to know about it. And we have seen people who have experienced a bad experience in getting caught to this wrong processes in this country. So if you haven't done the wrong thing, if you always done the right thing, then certainly you should be able to obtain an approval of your 457 visa. And ultimately, it should be for the benefit of the company, the Australian business. The Australian business need to retain that overseas visa holder, whether they are in Australia or from overseas, for that actual position. The 457 visa has become very popular during the mining boom because the mining sector didn't have enough labor, enough skills to meet that skill shortage. Therefore, there were a lot of 457 visa holders came from lots of parts of the world. But the mining sector has come down. Now the boom is happening in international education, hospitality and tourism, and building and construction. So therefore, the 457 visas are imperative to meet the skill shortages of the country. So it is to support the Australian businesses. the opportunity for the visa applicant is that the 457 visa will give you an opportunity for the visa applicant to become a permanent resident ultimately. If you hold a 457 visa and if you've done the right thing for 2 years, if the employer is willing to nominate you for a permanent position, then you can obtain permanent residence in Australia. And there are lower thresholds compared to the skill migration. So that's the benefit to the visa applicant.
Thank you, Susantha, for accepting our invitation and also giving our viewers all the valuable information. And let me wish you all the very best.
Thank you, Derek, and thank you, Sri Lanka Morning Show. I would also like to take the opportunity to give a message to our Sri Lankan students, because I see most of the students coming to this country now, and when they arrive in Australia, just after a short while, they hear from some people that the best way to obtain the permanent residence is to go through the 457 visa process. It is very unfortunate. So it's very important that the students who come to study in Australia focus on their studies and complete their qualification and meet their skills and English requirements. There's always a general skill migration pathway where they can obtain their permanent residence on their own with their own skills than 457. So therefore, please be aware of these tough laws and always try to do the right thing, and that you will achieve the right outcome. That's the message.
Thank you, Susantha. That's a very good message.
Thank you very much. Ayubowan.
Ayubowan.